Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Can I please ask you to take your seats for tonight's event? The 2022 Innovate UK Knowledge Transfer Partnerships Awards are about to begin. Housekeeping first, can we ask to have your mobile phones on silent, please, for the duration of the event? A fire alarm test isn't planned, but if you hear an alarm, please exit through the emergency exits at the rear of the hall and muster at the cenotaph right at the front of St George's Hall. So, without further ado, let's introduce our host for this year's KTP Awards. So please put your hands together and welcome to the stage Professor Susanna Lipscomb.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Innovate UK KTP Awards 2022. I am delighted to host this year's award ceremony, and in such a magnificent space. Today, we are gathering together to recognise exceptional KTP partnerships that have made a profound impact throughout the UK over the last 12 months. Each one of these partnerships has forged a new pathway for UK innovation. Each award recognises either a talented graduate, an organisation looking to grow, or a knowledge base looking to apply their expertise. Today we're going to be celebrating some of the KTP high points from across the UK and some of our exceptional associates. We have 7 awards to celebrate today, 2 more than last year, and once the winners are announced, I will ask them to come and join me on the stage to receive their awards. Now, KTP and the KTP Awards are particularly close to my heart because I was a project associate for Knowledge Transfer Partnership about a dozen years ago between Kingston University and Historic Royal Palaces. I was based in the Tudor Palace at Hampton Court Palace. My KTP was part of a wider project aimed to increase income from visitors to the palace by creating a new visitor experience and a new exhibition in the Tudor parts of the palace to mark the 500th anniversary of Henry VIII's succession to the throne in 2009. My historical research underpinned the new visitor route, which had refurbished interiors, interactive displays, and multimedia elements. I organised a series of public lectures and a huge international conference and participated in media appearances in order to publicise the new experience. And it worked. We aimed for 50,000 more visitors year on year. We got an extra 115,000 visitors, and there were lots of benefits besides. I was awarded the Arts and Humanities Research Council-sponsored KTP Award for Humanities for the Creative Economy. And actually, my association with KTPs goes further back. It's a family affair. Kingston University had become one of the leading proponents of KTP because my mother, Marguerite Lipscomb, working under the late Professor Andrew Self, had become a director of enterprise and had started KTP back in 1994 when it was still called Teaching Company Scheme. I hasten to add that she had nothing to do with my selection for the associateship. But her work meant that I knew about the benefits of KTP to an organisation looking to meet a strategic need and improve its profitability, to the university that works so closely with business and the community, and to the graduate who gets to be the catalyst for change. For KTPs are, of course, that three-way partnership between the business, the academic team, and the graduate. They're designed to drive innovation through knowledge transfer from that knowledge base into a business. KTPs not only complete strategically important projects, but they create and embed long-term new knowledge and capability into the business, so they enable it to achieve significant growth both in the present and well into the future. And these are true collaborations. The business benefits commercially, technically, and organisationally. Academics benefit by stretching and demonstrating the impact of their research. And associates based in the businesses enhance their academic skills whilst becoming commercially aware project managers. Collaboration is vital for the success of a KTP. So let's add some collaboration into this event and get the awards proceedings started by introducing Dr. Dave Wilkes, who is Director of Innovation Ecosystem at Innovate UK. In his role at Innovate UK, Dave is responsible for commercialization, including the KTP program, skills, public sector innovation and design. He also has oversight of catapults and agri-technical centres. Please, Dave, come to the stage.
Thanks, Susanna. As Susanna has said, I've got this slightly weird esoteric job title of Innovation Ecosystem. It includes responsibility for commercialisation, including KTP and iCure, and I know many of you are also involved in the iCure programme. And we work very closely with colleagues across UKRI, looking at the widest possible approaches to research commercialisation. And Susanna's also mentioned one of my other areas of responsibility is talent and skills for innovation. And I mention this now because KTP is often hailed as both an innovation programme and a skills programme, particularly as the associates develop their talents and then might often be taken on by those businesses to become part of the future success of those businesses that they've worked with in the KTP. So just a few words about this amazing programme, if I may, and why it's so important to Innovate UK and indeed to the UK economy. So I often hear people introduce KTP by saying, oh my God, KTP is even older than I am, right? So, but I'm afraid I can't claim that myself, but it's not far off. But in one form or another, KTP predated Innovate UK. It's been in existence through at least 2 versions of Innovate, 5 versions of the Department of Business, and I reckon we're now on about the 10th Prime Minister. I don't know if any of you have been keeping track of that, but the thing about it is, it's not just about how long it's been going, but the vibrant community, everyone involved in this is innovative, resilient. The range of projects, because we get to sit and look at all of them that come in and make those decisions about which ones get funding. The range of projects is endless, and the opportunities are amazing. For example, I don't know how many of you have been involved in the management KTPs, but this has opened a whole new dimension to the programme. And indeed, Susanna's own experience just shows the range of topics that are covered by the programme. And yes, we know that there's been ups and downs in funding across those years of the programme running, but this programme must be unique in the consistency of support it's had from across the political landscape, and in the widely held belief in the value it has. And again, it's not just the fact that it's run for so long that's impressive, it's the fact that it keeps delivering impact through every one of the programmes. And the heart of that impact is the way that businesses are connected into the bright minds in the universities, the colleges, the catapults, RTOs and other knowledge-based organisations. And then, of course, the associates, that glue, the conduit that really drives those relationships with the enthusiasm and the skills addressing the difficult challenges that the businesses put on the table. So I hope you've got the strong message that we really like KTP. We've secured long-term funding for the programme, and you'll hear a bit more from Richard Lamb, our programme manager, later, who's putting in place plans for continued long-term growth of the programme. And I hope you've also seen the additional funding we've made available for knowledge-based partners to build capacity, which we hope will enable that growth, that sustainable growth as the programme goes forward. Now, my Chief Executive of Innovate UK, Indro Mukherjee, sends his apologies for not being able to be with us today. He is a passionate advocate for this programme, and that really helps. And he wants to just make sure I pass on my thanks to everyone here for your critical roles in driving and enabling this important programme. I'd like to say particular thanks to Richard for his enthusiasm and drive, and also to all the knowledge transfer advisors in the room and those that aren't, without whom none of this would be possible. So on with the awards, and if there was any doubt about the impact of this programme, these awards demonstrate that value. In every winner you're going to hear about, in every nominee, and those that came close, you'll see that impact going right the way through every one of those programs. So looking forward to the continuing success of the program, and indeed headlong towards 50 years by 2025. I'll say goodbye for now, and I hope you have an excellent afternoon and the rest of the evening. Thank you.
Now we come to the first award of the evening, the Future Leaders Award. This award category recognises the achievements and growth of KTP associates during their projects, not only in their technical development, but also in developing their leadership and management skills. The actions of KTP associates have changed the culture of their companies. These are people of talent and potential, the innovators and leaders of the future. So do keep an eye out for them as their careers flourish. These are the ones to watch. We had over 50 nominees in this category, which were then whittled down to 21 finalists. These are the finalists from this category. You can see the names of the finalists, the businesses, and the universities. To all nominees, even if you're not shortlisted, being nominated by your partnership as a future leader is a clear indication of the huge esteem in which they hold you. And to all finalists, being shortlisted is a terrific achievement. You should feel very proud indeed. And from these 21 finalists, we have 4 award winners in this category. I would now like to welcome to the stage Dr. Steve Welsh to announce the Future Leaders Award. Steve is one of the founding directors of Innovate UK KTN and looks after strategic relationships with the universities, including the KTP programme, emerging innovations, and place. Steve.
Thank you. So many people I know here. People who know me will know that I'm just wondering if I could get away with my selfie trick, but maybe that's not for today. I do want to add my thanks to everybody for coming. There are so many people behind the scenes involved in delivering KTP, so many people working in the universities and behind the scenes in various capacities. It's amazing to see people back together again in the real, and I think it'd be great just to have a big cheer and a clap for everybody who's working so hard on this programme. It is a privilege, and one thing I know that everybody would agree is that working with the associates, seeing them develop, helping them develop in their capability in their career is a privilege that never gets old. So across the many decades of the programme, we've seen some amazing associates, and it's still true. All of the judges and all of the panels will tell you that the decisions were very hard, and they mean it. But we do have a winner, a number that I can report here today. So our first winner demonstrated expertise in operational design, bringing employees in the business on a journey of change in an exemplary way. And that winner is Tanya Ferrat.
I wasn't expecting. Oh, sorry. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next winner developed a regional business research and intelligence unit to address economic competitiveness and demonstrated great technical and leadership skills, making a big impact in their region. It's Harsh Shah, East Midlands Chamber and University. So our third winner in this category brought state-of-the-art digital design modelling to a company making gym equipment to support people with longer-term health conditions, playing a significant role in developing new products that are winning big sales. So our next winner is Matthew Holland, Inova and Manchester Metropolitan University. Finally from me, an associate that showed great flair in fostering collaborations across multiple competing interest groups in improving urban paving solutions, delivering great innovation and impact for their project. It's Catherine Campbell, Aitchison and Glover and Queen's University, Welsh.
Between awards, and no doubt just to increase your anticipation for those to come, the organisers of these wonderful awards have asked me to say a few words about communicating technical subject matter to a wider audience. Knowledge transfer, if you will. I am not a scientist, but I speak for a subject that Sir David Cannadine has characterised as in danger of collapsing under the weight of its unwieldy erudition. More and more historians know more and more about less and less. Most scholarly articles and monographs have a readership of 20 and a shelf life of 5 years. Academic history, he says, as taught and practiced in universities, increasingly appears to outsiders to be at best incomprehensible, at worst ridiculous. Does this ring any bells in your field? I think the major problem is that much professional history is hopelessly unreadable, written in esoteric and frankly barbaric prose that is both too timid and too jargon-ridden to rock society. But it needn't be so. I believe that there is a calling, not for all scholars perhaps, but possibly for those in this room, to make the work of the Academy accessible to an audience of non-specialists. So how do we do this? Well, the first thing is language. To find out if you can really understand something, they say, see if you can explain it to a 10-year-old. I went from writing the 100,000 words of my DPhil thesis to writing 60-word painting labels at Hampton Court. The labels are so short because all our IQs drop when we're standing up. Well, I'm sure that's not literally true, but if you will know the experience of walking around a museum or a heritage site quickly drains us of a desire to read huge screeds of text. People at museums and historic houses are chiefly concerned with we's and t's. They don't want to read long paragraphs that we've lovingly written. So people will skip panels that are too long or packed with information. They want something that is well written, clear, simple, interesting, easy to understand, but above all, brief. And more or less the same is true of podcasts, radio shows, TV interviews, magazines and newspaper articles, and pretty much any way that you'll be communicating with non-specialists. For me, learning how to be precise and concise at the same time was a challenge, as you can see here, one into the next. Sometimes, even when I learned that I had to use few words, I still ran into language difficulties. I remember writing text to accompany the Abraham tapestries hanging in the Great Hall at Hampton Court. These are 10 literally priceless tapestries commissioned by Henry VIII in the 1540s from the Brussels workshop of Willem de Campanier. They cost an astonishing amount of money to make, £2,000, which was also the price of a warship, and they took 2 years to weave. And they were designed with a purpose. Henry chose his subject, and the story they tell is of the prophet Abraham, from Genesis 12 to 24, because Henry VIII too saw himself as a patriarch to his people, making a new covenant with God, leading the English kingdom away from its subservience to the Church of Rome, as he saw it, towards the promised land where Henry was supreme head of both temporal and spiritual affairs. So I wrote words to that effect, and the visitor interpretation team, who choreographed the visitor experience, told me I couldn't use the words patriarch, covenant, subservience, or temporal. Now, that was all very well, but how else was I going to describe a covenant? Contract wouldn't cut it. Bargain sounded a bit mercenary. Perhaps a pledge or a promise, but there's something mutual about a covenant. Here is the final agreed text. And I think we can agree that no meaning is lost by simplifying the text. But learning to write such brief, clear snippets of text was a brutal learning curve for me. It was, however, an amazing training in communicating with the public. To speak about our subject with a non-specialist, to a non-specialist, we need brevity and clarity. So practice how you'd explain your project, your business, your brand to that 10-year-old child, in words that are clear, but also words that grab them. Because that's point number 2. And one of the best ways to grab people is to tell them stories. It's taken me a long time to learn how to tell stories, and frankly, that storytelling matters. As academics, we can sort of feel that we've moved beyond storytelling to analysis. That stories are for those who don't understand things on that higher plane. That we are older and wiser, and these things are child's play. But nothing can be further from the truth. In fact, stories are the primary way we learn and make sense of the world. It makes no sense not to use them. You hear once upon a time, and you expect a scene and a central character. And that character is our protagonist. We identify with them. They become our avatar. And then, once we know their situation and we care about them, something happens to them. Something disturbs their world. Jack discovers a beanstalk. Alice falls down a rabbit hole. Neo meets Morpheus. Our protagonist is faced with a problem, and the journey to solve that problem is the story. One of the opportunities that opened up to me as a result of my KTP was presenting history documentaries on TV. But I had to learn how to write my research as story when it came to scripting. Sir Simon Sharma has noted the criticism leveled at teledons. The argument is that the subtlety of history is too elusive, too fine, and slippery to be caught in television's big, hammy fist. You might feel the same about your own subject. But stories can carry subtleties. It's all about how you tell it. For our three-part series on Elizabeth I we did for Channel 5, I prepared a dossier of 66 pages of notes on her reign from which to write our scripts, which were hammered out between me and my co-presenter Dan Jones and our director Chris Holt. And this is when I started to learn the difference between the research we do and the product it creates. Script writing turns out to be an entirely different exercise from writing a thesis. For a start, it has to be conceived as a series of visual sequences. But above all, for today's purposes, it has to tell a story. It has to tell people things in the order that they happened, bar one or two tricks we have to start at the beginning and then whisk them through to the end. And it has to capture people's attention. Lose it, and the audience will turn off, turn over, or turn back to their phones. So people who write for TV take very seriously the craft of telling stories, the mechanics of storytelling, how to drive a show from one compelling scene to the next. How does that apply to us? Well, on the simplest level, you might tell the story of your research to an interviewer, and the protagonist in that story is you. You, the researcher, or you, the company, your problem, how you solved it. Or it might be a fictional or real individual, their problem, and how your company or your research intervened to change their world. You can tell stories about strategy, or innovation, or brand, or customer experience. Through story, you can communicate your values, foster collaboration, and spring people into transformational change. If you want your work or your business to be compelling, you need to think not just about analysis, but about narrative. You need to learn how to become a better storyteller, to see how you can beat out the story of your research into a story that people can connect with. And one way that stories do this is that they engage not just with our minds, but with our hearts. In the Young Henry VIII exhibition at Hampton Court, there was a moment when the visitor was confronted with this open doorway. It looks a bit like a gravestone. It's stenciled with a list of Catherine of Aragon's children. The children who were born dead or died within a few hours of birth, the son who died at 7 weeks old, the one daughter who survived. One Tudor academic and specialist for whom none of this content was new or unknown said that until he saw that, he had known about the stillborn children, but that was the first time he'd actually felt it. If you want your research to make an impression, it needs to be, as the great historian T.B. Macaulay put it, not only received by the reason, but burned into the imagination. If you think your research is worth your time, if you think it matters, you will at some level feel its emotional pull. You will know why it is you do what you do, and how it might make people feel if only they understood it. And why does it matter that they do understand it, that they do feel it, that you do make that effort to convey it to them? Another great historian, G.M. Trevelyan, put it like this: if historians neglect to educate the public, if they fail to interest it intelligently in the past, then all their historical learning is useless, except insofar as they educate themselves. And the same is true of your learning. But this isn't just altruism. I genuinely don't believe that you can connect with audiences without clarity of language, storytelling, and emotional engagement. Which is to say, I don't think you can realize your full commercial potential unless you go out and grab people's attention with a vital, clear, exciting, heartfelt narrative that tells them why what you do matters and why they should pay for it. I should now like to introduce to the stage Richard Lamb, who has responsibility for leading the entire KTP program, bringing together thousands of academics and hundreds of businesses right across the UK to work together and solve their business challenges. Richard Lamb.
Hello everyone. I'm just trying to reflect on the last 5 minutes that Susanna's been talking about storytelling and how important that is to all of us here in this room. I think we've much to learn about storytelling, and I can't see where Ashorn Hill are, but it might be something to think about doing something specific with our associates and giving them, to give them more of the storytelling skills that I think are so important. Tonight is an opportunity for us to learn more stories about KTP, and I, for one, have an endless appetite for learning more about this amazing programme. So, my name's Richard Lamb, I'm the KTP Programme Manager, and I work for Innovate UK. And particularly for those of you watching at home who are perhaps earlier in your projects, you might not understand or be familiar with Innovate UK's role within KTP. Innovate provides the framework which delivers KTP, and it manages and supports the network of partners that delivers the programme and provides the grants that support each and every project. You might think of Innovate UK as the silent partner in your projects, but I prefer to think of us as the quiet partner. We keep a watchful eye on all of your projects. We intervene on occasion, but most importantly, we're watching and we're listening to make sure that KTP keeps evolving to meet your needs now and in the future. And not only does KTP keep evolving, but it's also growing. Next year, we expect our budget to increase by 50%, as we aim for a portfolio of 1,000 projects by the time we reach our 50th birthday in 2025. Not that far away. So we keep growing, we keep evolving, and we keep trying new things. Next year, I'm pleased to announce that we will be running our African Agriculture KTP competition again to support innovative projects in Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana and South Africa. And that we're also working on 3 additional strands to complement the classic KTP and the management KTP to explore place, net zero and sustainability. And I hope to be able to share more about these themes with you in the very near future. Many of you will also be aware that we recently ran our Accelerated Knowledge Transfer Pilot, ACT. Thank you to those of you that managed to get an application in. You have overwhelmed us with your support. We had 161 applications and we had funding for about 80 projects. In the first round, we were expecting to get 20 projects submitted, so you've absolutely blown us away with your enthusiasm for ACT. That demand hopefully indicates that we've been listening well, and we've created something that meets your needs as businesses and academics. We will run ACT again, but we won't be running ACT round 2 or 3 of the pilot that we had previously advertised. That might not be the news some of you were hoping for, but ACT will be back next year, bigger and better. Now, before I hand you back to Susanna, I need to say a few thank yous. Angela, we miss you. Julia, Lucy, Sheila, Helen, James, Charlotte, and the cast of thousands at Innovate, some of whom will be watching online, thank you, because we can't do it without all of you. Colin, thank you for supporting me. Dave, thank you for supporting all of us. To all the people that helped judge the competition from across Innovate and KTN, thank you. We couldn't have done that without your help and your support. To all the knowledge transfer advisors, thank you, and I'll see you next week at Ashbourne Hill. And thank you, Ashbourne Hill, for all the things you do for our associates. Thank you to the organising team of Narpol, Keisha, Jerry, Mike, George, Michael, the Reach and Engagement team. We made it. We've done it. To Steve and Kirsty for your unstinting support and for presenting today. Alicia, we're also sending you our best wishes. I hope you're watching tonight. And Susanna, thank you for hosting the awards and welcome back to the KTP family. But you can never really leave the KTP family, as I've discovered. But most of all, thank you to you. Thank you for, well, thank you, I'm sorry, I'll start that again. thank you to you. You are all the beating heart of KTP. I hope you love this programme as much as we all do. Thank you for trusting us with your ideas, and thank you for making the judging of the awards so difficult by sharing your incredible stories. And with that, I will hand you back to Susanna. Thank you.
Time for our next award. The Academic of the Year award is won by someone who has demonstrated exceptional skills and commitment to knowledge translation, leadership, team building, and mentoring. They've shown excellence in supporting the program, in the development of new capabilities in the business, in supporting and inspiring the personal development and skills of the KTP associate. Here are the 3 shortlisted finalists.
My name is Fayaz Doctor. I'm a senior lecturer in computer science at the University of Essex. I lead the Intelligent Connected Societies group, and my research interests are predominantly in explainable AI, modeling and simulation approaches for real-world human-centered systems. I work closely with commercial organizations providing academic leadership and support, and most notably for this project on global shipping and haulage partnership with MSC. We're digitally transforming one of the world's largest container lines through developing novel AI-driven planning and simulation capabilities for modeling complex shipping and haulage operations at scale. So, for instance, how assets such as containers move and how those movements can be optimized in order to meet demand and reduce costs. Some of the major highlights of this project has been seeing the transformation of MSC as a business from one which is very much based on human experience and intuition to a company that is embracing data-driven insights using cutting-edge machine learning and simulation tools that will for the first time provide an end-to-end visibility of the entire shipping and haulage supply chain that truly impacts on reducing asset shortages and meeting order demands for its global customer base. It's truly an honor to be nominated as a finalist for the Academic of the Year award. This is testament to our continued work and relationship we have forged with MSC since 2019, and the fantastic associate we have, and the academic team and the commercial team that is working with us on this project.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mohammed Yassin, and I'm a multidisciplinary scientist and an academic in physical sciences at the University of West of Scotland. The work that I've been doing in this KTP is between ACS Clothing and the University of West of Scotland, and of course the associate involved. The project addresses the constraints of a manually operated ozonation system and existing batch process constraints from current inefficient manual ozone equipment. So my work was to lead this multidisciplinary team consisting of several academics to design, develop, and implement a unique, controlled, automated ozone decontamination system for sanitization of textile materials. So using my knowledge in sanitization and ozone technology, we developed fundamental experimentations within my research lab at the University of West of Scotland, resulting in a successful deployment of lab-scale ozone sterilization systems and testing of the microbiota on materials. This led to several publications, patents, and sustained further collaboration through studentships and grants. Without question, the feeling is good to be a finalist for this award because it is recognition of the successful work that we have been doing and the collaboration that we have achieved and this will further elevate the potential for further collaboration as well.
Hi, my name is Lawson. I'm a professor of data science at the University of Essex. Our KTP with Profusion supported the evaluation of the AI marketer from a data science perspective. In close collaboration with Profusion, I led on the delivery of industry-based master dissertations via project of the Profusion Data Academy. I was inspired to engage in this KTP project by the understanding that data science research and education has to be done and to be developed as working together between industry and academia. The KTP was important for my career progression, was at the heart of my lead on developing and introducing a new and cutting-edge master courses in data science at the University of Essex. The working together was crucial to allow us to bid successfully for the Office for Students funding of our new conversion master courses in data science. I do think that our Essex success in offering data science education would not have been possible without having the working together via the KTP with Profusion. In addition, it supported and helped my engagement in founding and growing the European Association for Data Science as a founding vice president, to lead as a president in the transformation of the German-speaking Gesellschaft für Klassifikation to GFKL Data Science Society. In addition, it provided ideas how to evolve as president and past president of the International Federation of Classification Societies, IFCS, further. In summary, the KTP was essential for getting ideas and making progress in various parts of my academic career.
And the winner of the inaugural Academic of the Year is Doctor of the University of Essex.
Our next award recognises a university academic team that has influenced and supported sustained high-quality performance in KTP. The award is for those who work at universities that help deliver and run KTPs from their institution. We have 3 shortlisted finalists.
My name is Liz Johnson and I'm the KTP manager at the University of Brighton. It feels fantastic to be a finalist for this award and to have the team's hard work rewarded. We work really hard to prioritise all of our projects and provide a high quality service to our partners, so it's great to see this come back around. During my time in this position, I'm most proud that in the last couple of years I built the KTP portfolio from 2 projects up to 10 and counting. And recent data shows that the University of Brighton KTP submissions were among the highest in quality, with only 3 other universities. So I'm proud to be submitting high quality and quantity applications for KTPs. The key initiative that I believe led to my success is in part because my role sits across 2 business-facing teams, partly in the Knowledge Exchange team and partly in the Green Growth Platform team. The combination of this has given me access to lots of different businesses who have a passion for innovation and who appreciate a broad spectrum of benefits from collaborative projects. And then when they hear about KTP, the time is right for them, then it's a no-brainer. I think we've been nominated for this award because our team are small but hardworking and we get results. We're really passionate about KTP and I think that comes through in our work and our working relationships.
I'm Holly Leonard. I'm the Innovation Partnerships Manager at the University of Essex.
And I'm Robert Shatton. I'm the Knowledge Transfer Partnerships Manager at the university. I think the nomination for this award comes from the tremendous level of proactive support that we deliver to our KTP portfolio. Here at Essex, we're fortunate enough to have a team of 5 people working full-time on supporting our KTP portfolio. It gives us the resource and the coverage to make sure that we're actively addressing the challenges faced by companies, academics and associates as they arise. And that allows us to play a significant role in the delivery of the projects that we engage in.
So I think one of the things that's led to our success is the level of engagement we do with our local business community. So we really go above and beyond to engage with businesses in our region and beyond as well, to make them aware of what the university can support them with, the expertise that we have here and the funding that's available to them.
I think one of the things I'm proudest of with how Essex delivers KTPs is the way that we support our associates. A massive majority of our associates are people coming to the UK or moving around the UK to take up their positions. And Essex has a couple of structures in place that we find really important in supporting those associates as they bed into their new roles, whether it's just one-to-one interaction with our KTP team or whether it's through attendance at our regular associate network events. They mean a lot to the associates and they elevate the deliveries that we get out of it for companies.
It feels absolutely fantastic to be a finalist for the Knowledge Based Support Team Award. It really makes us feel recognised for all the hard work we've put in over the last few years.
Hi there, my name's Stuart Mackay and I'm the KTP Manager for the University of the West of Scotland. To be nominated as a finalist, I guess, how does it make me feel? Well, firstly, humbled. It's truly an honour to be recognised on behalf of the entire university and all those at UWS who contribute to our KTP programme delivery. At UWS, KTP is fundamental to how our academics engage with industry. As many of you will know, KTP has been at the vanguard of knowledge exchange and innovation and delivering real commercial, societal and economic impact in the UK for over 50 years. So the short answer was it's fundamental. Why have we been so successful? I think it's because we genuinely believe in partnership working. And everything with KTP at UWS is more than a transactional engagement with industry. We believe in strategic partnership agreements and all of our KTPs are strategic, and I keep using the S word but I mean it. Look at some of the metrics. In that 15 years, over 250 projects, over 50 million in funding, a vast number of fantastic company engagements and amazing associates that I've had the privilege and honour to work with. That really is what inspires me and keeps me going. Cheers!
Just to say, all of these are very, very worthy nominees, but the Best Knowledge Base KTP Support Team 2022 are the University of the West of Scotland.
Now is the time for our Business Impact and Transformation Award. KTP prides itself on making significant change in a business by creating new capabilities, new commercial opportunities that drive the company's bottom line and contribute to the UK's prosperity. The award recognises a partnership that has continued to demonstrate outstanding impact. By transforming the commercial outlook and accessing academic knowledge to deepen expertise, companies can expand their commercial capabilities and exploit market opportunities. I would like to welcome to the stage Dr. Kirsty Hewitson, Interim CEO at Innovate UK KTN, to announce this award. And the finalists are...
So my name is Dan Crawford, and I'm the founder and the Chief Strategy Officer at Axial 3D.
I'm Justin McGee, Professor of Design and Research Director, Belfast School of Art at Ulster University.
Also, I'm Luke Donnelly. I'm a software developer at a company called Axial 3D.
What the company does is we take complex two-dimensional images that you'd find in a hospital, so CTs and MRIs, and then convert those hard-to-understand two-dimensional images into volumetric images using machine learning, with the view that these volumetric images are much easier to understand for surgeons and dramatically improve patient care.
We would do work printing 3D models that would be used as surgical guides and as planning tools, and also as tools to be used for communicating with patients about the conditions that they're in, what's going on inside their body.
There's been several impacts that this KTP has had. Within 2 months of launch, sales rocketed by 1,000%. And considering over 50% of decision-making changes when surgeons are using this software, that's a big impact in terms of outcomes for patients.
Being a finalist for this award feels absolutely fantastic. Giving recognition to both Axial 3D and Axial 3D's associate that's been working on these cloud-based technologies through the KTP program is just phenomenal.
I find KTPs especially inspirational because they allow you to have a strategic vision with the company. We're about to start our 7th KTP, and again this is with Axial 3D. This time it's a 2 associate KTP, and so we're undergoing the recruitment process and we're excited about what that will bring for the company.
So Johnson Test Papers manufacture pH test strips, semi-quantitative test strips, all designed for the testing of water. The KTP was very much focused on improving our product catalogue, moving us into larger markets with regards to test kits rather than test strips. When I joined Johnson Test Papers in 2014, I was a KTP associate myself, and I very much focused on singular test strips. So for an example, a tube of strips that has a colour chart like so. This is just a singular product. You just take a strip out the top, you dip it in your sample, and you compare it against the colour chart on the tube. Where this KTP differed is that we very much focused on the development of test kits. Now, as an example, it looks something more like this, and when you open it, it's more about taking a sample of liquid and adding extra reagents to that sample before you then do your test and comparing it against the colour chart. Much more complex, much more sensitive to interferences, so there's a lot more research needed to go into these kits than you necessarily might think. Being able to take a list of 25 odd products at the start of the KTP, and by the end of it to have fulfilled 24 of them, I think is a brilliant testament to how much work was put in by everybody.
So the highlights of the work, I think for me, for working on the KTP project, is to see how we can understand the chemistry going on, but then to see it actually going into the marketplace, and to see the evidence of orders coming in for the products that have been generated as a result of this KTP. So it's going really from the sort of research phase right through to the product being sold, and seeing that whole, having that overview of the whole process.
So the work that we've been doing on the KTP with SuperCat has been on the ATMP vehicle,
and we've been electrifying it. It used to use a diesel engine, but we can't do that anymore. So we've helped Supercat understand how to make it all work using electric motors.
So the impact of the work done has been substantial in our company. It's made us a leader of vehicle electrification in different markets, military, rescue services, and so we're now seen as a go-to company for that sort of work. The passenger vehicle market is sort of taken off with vehicle electrification, but a vehicle like this hadn't been done before.
So the ATMP vehicle at Supercat is quite a complicated vehicle. It's 2.5 tons, 6-wheel drive, and it's asked to do an awful lot. It's complicated, therefore, in that we couldn't simply take an electric powertrain from a car and pop it into this vehicle and expect it to be airdropped and tow a heavy load up a muddy slope. It just wouldn't work. So there was an awful lot of technological complications, and we worked with the top-class engineering team at Supercat who really understand the vehicles, and we really understand powertrains, and together we managed to find a good solution. So the KTP has had incredible impact at Supercat. They are now probably one of the leading companies working on defence vehicles and electrification thereof. So the wider impact of this project in sense of defence vehicles is that it really opens the door to understanding of the users of those kind of vehicles, how they work, will they work for them, but it goes beyond just defence into all kinds of other vehicles. So the effect of the KTP has been very disruptive into that sector, the defence vehicle sector. I think it's widely accepted that electrification is a reality, it's coming, and Supercat is now at the forefront of that.
Hello everybody, and it's such an absolute pleasure to be here this afternoon to meet so many fantastic people and to see so many great projects. So the winner of the Business Impact and Transformation Award is the University of Exeter, SC Group Global, and Matthew Harvey.
Now we come to our Changing the World Award. The previous category spoke to the impact on business. This award focuses on projects that support society through broader environmental or community benefits, including the move to net zero and the reduction in carbon emissions. So this award recognizes the wider effects of KTP. It celebrates those projects that have delivered significant societal improvement, that have changed the world for the better. Let's now look at the finalists for this award. There are 3 shortlisted finalists.
Our KTP was a collaboration between Coventry University and Network to Supplies company, which is a recycler of electronic devices. So the company is one of the best in their field, but before the KTP they were doing the manual dismantling and the traditional ways of handling the e-waste. But with this project, the aim was a recovery of metals from any e-waste that is not reusable again. So therefore they need the chemical and biotechnology expertise because they were looking for more sustainable techniques, and biotechnology was a solution for that. So the method we used is bioleaching. The aim of the KTP was building the lab in the company, developing the methods and embedding the process in the company, and at the end training the staff for the future of the company.
One of the milestones in the project was the fact that despite the project being for 3 years and intended to be really a proof of concept, in fact within 18 months, thanks to the effort of the company, we've managed to have some impact commercially. So this was really very encouraging for us, and having an impact so early is really incredible for us. I would say that the highlight of the project was the fact that this project has allowed us to transfer our knowledge to society, to be applied, to proper application, to real life. And this is thanks to that collaboration with the company. I really want to thank N2S, who has allowed us to do that. Without them, we probably would be unable to transfer this knowledge out of the lab. So this is really the highlight to me. Thank you, N2S.
The work that we did with the KTP project was around a project that was entitled Improving Water Management in RHS Gardens and the Wider Horticultural Community. It ran from November 2018 to November 2021, and it was a fantastic partnership between Cranfield University and the RHS. It had three primary aims. The first was to address the risks associated with the dependence of ornamental horticulture and gardening on water. The second objective was to promote the role of water in sustainable gardening. And the third objective and aim was to assist gardeners and the horticultural industry to build resilience to climate changes and climate extremes.
We know that gardens rely on water. They're essential to get a good garden growing, but we also recognise that actually we need to protect those water resources. So I was employed through the Royal Horticultural Society to help gardeners use the right amount of water at the right time in the right places so that we all just get towards sustainable water use. So there are some massive challenges that we have to face with climate change, increasing population, and we need to find more water resources if we're going to carry on using water the way that we do. That means building more infrastructure. So one of the things we can do is reduce the amount of water that we use in our gardens, and we can do that easily by just switching to rainwater. So that a lot of the project was focused around continuing to allow people to garden in the way they have done, but doing it in a more sustainable way and using the maximum use of rainwater that they can.
The two-way knowledge transfer between the Royal Horticultural Society and Cranfield has been absolutely vital for our KTP, both from bringing the sort of scientific insights from Cranfield's side together with the knowledge that the RHS has of its own business, its own gardens and its own members.
I think I'd say that, you know, the KTP coming to an end last September, it wasn't the end of something, it was actually the end of the beginning of something. So I think there's a huge amount of work that can be done between the water industry, the Royal Horticultural Society and all of the other gardening organisations that are out there that could have a real impact. I mean, the water industry has been in the news quite a bit recently, and there is a place for all of those organisations to get together to make a difference still.
Hi, I'm Dave Hutchins. I'm the Managing Director of W&J Knox Limited. We are a manufacturing company making nets for the aquaculture industry, primarily in Scotland, and we service nets also, and we also make sports nets. So the work we've been doing with KTP involves looking at our waste streams. As a result of washing the nets that we get back from our customers, they have marine growth on them, so typically shell waste and seaweed. So we wash these nets, remove the fouling from them, and then we have this waste product to dispose of. What we did with the KTP project was to look at potential reuse of this material, what we could extract from it and gain some valuable items that could maybe offset our current landfill costs and just generally help the business financially going forward.
So this KTP is an impact on the environment by reducing the need for landfill, in this KTP specifically by around 30%, potentially valorising that material to add value to it and provide uses in other industries such as the animal feed industry. In a larger picture, W&J Knox is acquired by a large group in Norway, which is a global organisation. They've also taken a better view of their waste streams and what they'll actually do with those in the future because of this KTP, which is a great step in the right direction.
This KTP project is an example how we can reuse and recover valuable components from waste materials, which otherwise would be sent to landfill for disposal. This is in line with the principle of green circular economy, in which we optimize processes to repurpose waste. This can only mean one good thing to the environment and sustainability. When operational, the waste material can potentially provide an income stream to the company and create new jobs for the local society.
And the winner of the Changing the World Award is Network to Supply, Coventry University, and Mesa Bani Azadi. Our penultimate award recognises partnerships that demonstrate excellence in the application of science, technology, engineering or mathematics, projects where STEM expertise has led to business innovations and a contribution to the evolution of the field and the research interests of the academic team. I would like to welcome back to the stage Dr. Dave Wilkes, Director of Innovation Ecosystem at Innovate UK, and the 3 shortlisted finalists are.
During the KTP, I worked to develop a risk framework for the IGS Growth Tower, so that's their vertical farm, and that's to map sources of potential microbial hazards associated with the technology. And as well as that, I worked to quantify some of that risk to the consumers through a mathematical model of the irrigation system. And so that brought a little bit more statistical math into it. And then on top of that, I also worked on ways that we could communicate to customers about risk. It's typically quite a dry topic, risk assessments. So it was ways of looking at ways to sort of engage the customers in the data sets that we were collecting in the risk framework. The outcomes of the project, they shifted from those originally set. As you can imagine, through the pandemic, we had to pivot quite quickly on some things, which meant that there were some contractions to alleviate pain points. I lost access to the laboratory, for example, for a time, but that meant the expansion of others. So being able to complete the bioinformatics in-house was one of them. So over the course of the project, we did manage to achieve everything we set out to do, including the completion of the full risk assessment for the growth tower, the simulatory model, which we're still using to this day, and then also the microbiome analysis, which was a great success as like a baseline view on a very, very unique technology. You know, more and more customers are asking about food safety. They're asking about microbiome analysis. You know, they're aware of these topics. So this has meant that there's much better confidence in our product, especially in the current climate where, you know, food security is a big issue. And then I think the investment into this KTP project by IGS, I think it clearly demonstrates their commitment to food safety, but also the scientific understanding of this new technology.
It's really an honour to be a finalist in these KTP Awards, particularly in the technical excellence category, and to see the work that IGS has been doing being acknowledged by the wider technical and science community is really a very solid validation of the approach that we've been taking to our product development.
My name is Wayne Eady. I'm the founder of Innovate, a specialist sports brand that makes some of the best shoes and clothing available in our target categories. We've been working alongside the National Graphene Institute at the University of Manchester to explore the use of graphene, the world's strongest material, in footwear for trail runners, hikers, and fitness athletes. Bringing to market world's first footwear products incorporating graphene has allowed athletes to win world record events and races. Pioneering this technology using graphene and infusing it with our rubber and foam that we use within our footwear, which allows it to give maximum performance and last longer. Our G-Grip rubber and G-Fly foams are patent pending and one of the leading edge technologies used within the industry now.
The graphene that we have incorporated into the rubber and foam of the soles in the shoes really provides a step change in the performance of the shoe. It increases the durability, the grip, the energy return, and as a result it provides the runners with a real edge in competitions.
We've been able to deliver stronger, grippier, lighter and cushiony shoes that are able to retain its properties over a long period of time, where we've seen well-known local and international professional athletes doing fastest known time in the Lake District and other international races. As a company and from a personal point of view, we are very passionate about reducing our environmental impact. And I think one of the ways we do this is by using graphene, where we're able to prolong the lifespan of our shoes, which eventually help to reduce the wastage in our landfill.
I'm Josh Myrons. I'm a data scientist by trade, and I'm currently working on the CCTV AI projects to apply computer science techniques to wastewater systems and identify faults in sewers.
The KTP project is a flagship of Network Intelligence program. Alongside with the day-to-day project management, my contribution is to provide industry, business and analytical expertise to support go-live strategy. It required partnering and influencing stakeholders across the board of Southwest Water, including our operation team, asset management team, IT experts, in order to drive awareness and demand for this product.
The outcome of the software is that it massively improves the speed and the accuracy of sewer surveying. So at the moment, if you envisage a poor surveyor in the middle of the night, in the middle of a busy road, when it's raining outside, and they've got to annotate this survey up while they're out on site, unfortunately that's going to be quite a slow and difficult process for them. If we can get AI to do that instead, not only does it make their job a lot easier, it makes it a lot safer, and they can really concentrate on the task at hand, which is performing the survey itself rather than the annotation.
The novel application of cutting-edge technologies for CCTV surveys required a large amount of the data and their interpretation for building a training database for development of the software. The KTP project for me and the whole Southwest wider team has provided a platform for learning about data science and adopting it in a day-to-day operation routine.
And the winner of the Technical Excellence Award for 2022 is Southwest Water, Exeter, and Joshua Myrons.
This is the final part of the evening, and the award that everyone has been waiting to hear. Who has won Best KTP Partnership 2022? As I said at the start, KTP is all about partnerships, collaboration, and people. For a KTP to be a success, it must benefit the business, the knowledge base, and the associate. If it only benefits one, then it's not a great KTP. Therefore, this award is given to a KTP when the benefits have been exemplary for each of the parties involved. This means the partnership in 2022, which has brought the greatest benefits to all three participants, exceeding the expectations set out in the KTP proposal, and which best exemplifies innovation through collaboration. The winning partnership has managed to capture the essence of KTP, what it's all about. There are 3 shortlisted finalists.
Cerdan is a digital health company focused on the clinical pathways that revolve around pathology laboratories. We help expedite those and automate those and make them more efficient. And we have tools that help with the collection of the pathology data, which has become increasingly important for healthcare and looking for new healthcare insights. Cerdan has been a big proponent of KTP all the way through our history of our company. We are a great believer in the KTP program for the knowledge transfer. The way that the knowledge transfer is set up and the ability to get that knowledge transfer is second to none in this program.
What makes this KTP special is what we have done is we've developed machine learning models that will really improve the cost effectiveness of clinicians when it comes to detecting cancer in relation to breast cancer and also colorectal cancer.
Being a finalist in the KTP Award is really exciting. It proves that the work we did here, just on the edge of the Lagan in Lisburn, it really has a far greater meaning across healthcare and across the UK as a whole. It's using AI for good. It's using AI to reduce some of the workload from clinicians and to help them in their day-to-day practice.
The KTP program helps generate real-world benefits, and particularly in this program and this particular course, we were looking at how we could improve the work of cancer screening programs in breast cancer and in bowel screening, and being able to use AI to help expedite the analysis of samples and specimens and excisions. It means that we can help produce real-world benefits for patients, and that's just great that we can see that improvement.
Hi, my name's Rebecca and I'm a director at a company called Partnership Medical. We are manufacturers of endoscopy consumables but specialise predominantly in the decontamination of endoscopes. We've realised that the cross-contamination between scopes is majority from the biofilm build-up within inside the scopes. At the minute this is a manual process and we wanted a way to create this into an automated process to ensure that every endoscope is cleaned properly before it goes to be disinfected. So our task was for the KTP to find a way to create a cleaning action within the internal channels of an endoscope. Then is the academic that worked with us on this KTP, and he got given a mammoth task of creating basically an ultrasonic cleaning action within the channels using chemical, which he achieved quite quickly and very effectively.
One key aspect of the project for me is the fact that our disinfection formulation is able to rapidly remove bacterial biofilms which can persist on endoscopes, and it's these bacterial biofilms which are incredibly hardy, resilient communities of organisms that can be passed from patient to patient if the endoscope is not cleaned effectively. So our findings show that we can remove in the region of 10 million to 100 million organisms within approximately 5 minutes of exposure.
Biofilms in biological devices such as endoscopes are endemic, they're easily formed, and they form a little refuge for bacteria to live in, which generally conventional methods don't disrupt very easily. And so the fact that we have a treatment that within a few minutes will completely disrupt biofilms from a range of different clinically relevant microorganisms really effectively is tremendous.
For this project, I hope that it's going to become a real product which can be used in the hospital as soon as possible to sort out the problem, as we know about the cross-contamination caused by the endoscopy procedures.
Our KTP has achieved something that nobody else has achieved before, and it is something that will change the world of decontamination for endoscopy.
TechBuyer is a sustainable IT company focused on the circular economy. We have 13 offices worldwide, but 5 are in the UK and the north of England. We specialise in enterprise IT equipment, server storage and networking, and we've just started expanding into end-user compute, laptops and desktops. Primarily, it's refurbishment, remanufacture, and at the very last resort, recycling.
The main objective behind our KTP was to develop a tool that models and quantifies the energy efficiency of servers, which aims to help data centers improve their carbon footprint and reduce their energy consumption.
What we did is we used mathematical modeling and field data from a large number of experiments to try and understand how we best deploy servers in data centers, how to optimize these and extend their life based on the configurations and the new generations of servers. The idea is to get the most out of deployed kit and reduce e-waste to landfill, which is a significant issue from an environmental perspective.
Data centers are estimated to consume around 2% of the global energy consumption in the world, and having a tool that helps them reduce their energy consumption majorly will result in a greener world.
This KTP is really special. We published 2 research papers during this, one in the IEEE, one in Elsevier. The IEEE one was actually contributing to the disproving of Moore's law, which is a fundamental law of computing that's been around for ages, and it's completely changed the enterprise IT view on refreshment and refurbishment, so it's been absolutely paradigm shifting for this industry. The KTP led to us creating a whole new business called Interact. That business now has just finished its first year financially trading and has turned a very healthy profit in its first year. We've got 3 part-time employees and 2 full-time employees, so it's led to significant economic growth in our region and also improved employability. And the associated benefits of the business through Interact has helped us continue to grow tech buyer at the rate that we kind of project and that we want. Knowledge transfer has been crucial on this, taking the expertise of one person and then transferring it to everyone in the business so we can all benefit as a global operation. It's been crucial, so having a structured KTP that's embedded that methodology into our teams has been vital.
Three amazing programs and partnerships, and I was on the panel that had to try and make this very, very difficult decision. Almost impossible to separate them. But the winner of the Best Partnership Award is Surdan Imaging, Queen's University Belfast, and Jonathan.
Thank you. That concludes the KTP Awards for 2022. Thank you so much for joining us. Tonight we've heard about some incredible partnerships, and it's been so impressive to see the huge range of projects that are part of our KTP community. I hope you will agree how amazing Innovate UK KTP is and how it enables such incredible people to come together to produce some fantastic positive outcomes. We've heard about partnerships with large companies, small companies. We've heard about commercial projects and not-for-profit organizations. We've heard about technical and not technical projects. And the businesses in all these areas have worked with our world-leading UK knowledge base and associates to develop new capabilities, to grow their business, to improve our society. I hope you've enjoyed learning about these fantastic achievements as much as I have. KTP inspires pride. It is such a great program, and it absolutely shows what can be achieved through collaboration and partnership. At the end of the day, it is all about the people. And those involved are remarkable, committed, creative individuals with brilliant stories. I'm sure you've got lots of questions for them. There's so much that we can learn from these award-winning KTPs and from the program in general. We would therefore like it if you would now join us at the reception to enjoy a drink. Here you can continue the celebrations, talk to the KTP teams, and meet the finalists and winners to hear what happened in their projects. I hope you have been inspired and excited about what you've heard today. Thank you to everyone who has attended, everyone who's watched online, all of those who work tirelessly backstage to make things happen. the teams up there, back here, and all the planning that has gone into the awards. And one final thing, can all the winners and the finalists, before you get your drink, join me at the Instagram wall for a group photo? Have a wonderful evening.